Hi and welcome to CHD. This video is actually about not Google, even though you're looking at Google. It's actually about a network video recorder which we sell. So using Internet Explorer, I'm going to add into the taskbar up there my default IP address. Okay, I'm going to go non-ActiveX for this one. I have no password, so click submit. Okay, so this is the guru, I suppose, or if you want to call it, the operating screen remotely to the NVR. This particular NVR can have 36 cameras. At the moment, it's doing 25 cameras. Now, the other thing is, I've got to point out straight away, is that if you don't have Flash installed, a little icon will come up here. These camera placement screens won't be showing up, and it will say click here, download Adobe, click yes, go through the process, install it on your computer, the Flash, and then you'll come to this, close the screen, refresh Internet Explorer, and then do it again with the IP address, and then you'll see what you're seeing here. Alright, so just looking at the screen here, on the left hand side, these are all of our cameras. We have two viewing screens. We can do substream, which is this. So we'll do 9 cameras in substream remotely. Obviously you can view all the cameras if you're doing it via mouse at the actual recorder itself. It will pop all up and you can flick between your screens. You've got your different arrangements here. If I go mainstream, I'm going to get them all in high def at 1080. I've only got two cameras connected at the moment, and we'll go through how to add those. We've got our 2 screens. Make bigger. Not exactly focused, but there we go. Okay, let's go for our subs. Double click on that. Our 9s are going to come up. Obviously we don't have 9 cameras connected to this at this particular type. Okay, now straight out of the box, what you'll want to do is connect your VGA or your HDMI to your monitor. You'll want to go to your configuration. Now this will be slightly different menu. It's pretty much the same, but the colors are different. And the first thing that you want to do out of the box is go to where it says channel. It's slightly different, as I said, but you'll find it. I'll do another video and showing you on how to do this a little bit more in depth. But the first thing you need to do is configure the recorder for your premises. You might only have 4 cameras, and you might have bought the lesser model, and you might have 5 megapixel cameras, which you can have 4 of those. So the first thing you do is you change your recorder configuration. Alright, we can after we do that, just it will automatically reboot, log on to the system again, and then we're back to this screen here. But I just wanted to point this out to you now, that that's the number one thing that you do straight away. Configure your DVR, set it up the way you want it to be. It gives you the drop down menus. It says 4 cameras, 5 megapixels, viewing 4 in XYZ. So you just flick through those. I'm just going to sync my time. Comes up with successful. I just wanted to show you that. We'll go down. This is the firmware and the hardware version. The new firmware that's coming out will accept 25 cameras at 5 megapixels, which is huge. PTZ, while we're here, I'll just show you. We can do PTZ on Pelco P and Pelco D. Daylight saving time, really handy feature. Enable that and do your I think it's October you do first, and then you do April. I think it's the first Sunday at 2 o'clock or something like that by memory. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Nobody saved that. Oops, it says 30 minutes. Change that to an hour. 60 minutes. Alright, now let's go to cameras. Let's go to land search. I'm just going to delete these cameras, so I might as well do this a little bit backwards. But to delete a camera, just hit delete. Pretty simple. Okay, so this is what we will be looking at. Less this information here. First thing you do is go to a device and go search. It's going to pop up whatever's on the land. Okay. We've got 3 cameras. How do we add them to the system? Well, there's these little pencils here. Double click on the pencil and choose the spot that you want it to be on. Oh, let's change that to number 1. I like doing IP addresses in order. And this one here we're not going to add to the system. Okay, that's all we need to do there. Let's go back to here. What I need to do is I need to add a username and a password. Now some IP cameras will come with a username and a password, some will just be a username. Now these particular cameras come with a username and password, which is admin, and the password is 123456. I do that again for all my cameras that I'm installing, providing that your cameras have a username and password. If they don't, you should set one up. You don't particularly want somebody else jumping on the LAN and start going, oh, what's this, what's that, and being able to change the settings of a camera. So a password is a good idea. You know, something maybe like your installer password that you use or similar. Go save. Rightio. It's that simple to add a camera. That simple. Let's go to display. Alright, so this is the first one's a 3 megapixel dome camera that we've got set up here. This information here is coming directly from the camera, and it's down here in this corner here. That's just what I programmed the camera to display. Let's have a look at channel 2. Okay, so with this one here, it's not showing up there, but it should say 2 megapixel. I think it's dome or body camera there. There's the other camera. Rightio. So really, the next thing we need to do is what? Motion detection. Rightio. We're going to do record. Rightio. What else can we do? Let's have a look at network configurations, network settings. Okay. So probably the things that we really need to pay attention to here is the IP address. So what I might do for this demonstration is I might just change the IP address. That'll be the default IP address that it will come with. I might just change that to say 200. I'm going to save that. Now obviously I'm going to have to type in 200 into my browser. Yep. I think it automatically does it for you actually. We'll soon find out. It's always a good idea to also reset computers when you change IP addresses as well. We'll see how we go with this. Alright. It's taking a little time, so I might just type in 200. Should come back to the main screen. Okay. I'm not getting anything, so I'm just going to pause this video and reboot the recorder. Oh, here we go. It's done it. Just install that. Okay, so I'm going to go to, yep. So the few things that just popped up, just go yes, change it to non-active X. Change it if you want, it's up to you. Okay, so now we're at 200 IP address. Let's go back to network. Configuration, network, IP addresses. Okay, so now we've got IP address 200. What we need to do is we need to port forward a few ports in your router to this IP address here. So when you do your port forward, so I'll do a port forward and I'll do TCP UDP, doesn't really matter. I'll go 192.168.1.200. I'll port forward here 5050, then also port forward 5051, 5052 and 5053. Now the 5053 port is going to be used for iPhones and Androids and other application devices. You might have a tablet. It's going to use 5053. So make a mental note that that's really important to make sure you do all of those ports to the IP address that you set your recorder to. You might be on site and they might start their range at 10.10.10.1. Might be their router, or they might go 10.10.10.254, whatever a case may be. So your gateway IP address is going to be the IP address of the router. Now a lot of the time, sometimes it's better to, if you're in a commercial environment, I find it's better to ask the client, do you have IT people that manage your network? They generally say yes, and you say that's great. Can you contact them and ask them to issue an IP address that I can program the recorder to be? And they might say radio 10.10.1.180. They might have printers around at 180, or they might say 200, or they might say it doesn't really matter, we're okay. And you say great, now do a port forward the IP address that you gave me just then, and port forward 5050, 5051, 5052, 5053, all to that IP address, and you'd be pretty much good to go. Now the other thing is, if port 80 is being used here, just change it to like 81 or 82. So when you do enter in the IP address up here, just go colon, which is the 2 dots, 81 or 82, whichever you choose. Just write it down on a bit of paper, give it to them, say radio, test this, use Internet Explorer, and it'll pop up with a screen, and you'll be into the system. So look, that's the only real tricky thing that you need to know about this recorder. It's not really this recorder, it's all recorders. So if you can put your head around that, you got it home and hose. There's no problems whatsoever. What else can I show you? We do have inputs, alarm inputs. So it's very handy. We've got 4 inputs and we've got 4 outputs, and we've also got scheduling. So we can trigger maybe relay 1 or relay 3 on a particular time and a particular date if XYZ happens. I'll give you an example. Let's say I've got 60 cameras, security guard on site might be there, might start his shift at 2 o'clock in the morning, last staff leaves at 12 o'clock at night, might be a little bit of a gap there, 2 hour gap, security guard comes in or doesn't come in. Let's say we've got a really early delivery, and what we can do is we can set up motion. So if the pixels break at, let's say, 1:30 in the morning to 1:45 in the morning on a particular camera and a particular day, I might have a delivery, and what I'll do is I'll schedule that, and I'll make the boom gate actually open and close while that delivery person is there, and I can qualify that so it's not just somebody walking. I can use the pads, the magnetic loop on the ground as the truck drives up. That's the first qualifying input. Then I can use the camera system here as a second qualifying input. I could use another pin number. If I have a keypad, put it off a concept panel or a TCOM, and qualify it like that. So if all these conditions happen, then the boom gate opens. It might just be a pedestrian gate or something simple like that, but you do have inputs and you do have outputs, and you also have scheduling as well. So you can do quite a lot of things like that, little tricky things if you wanted to integrate it. I've just highlighted here, we've got normally open, normally closed status. That's great. Tick our trigger recording. Alright, again, our outputs, how long it might be for, whatever the device is. You might have a roller door that's going to stay open for 5 minutes and give that person access, and then they're going to leave and it's going to close again, and that might only happen on a Thursday at who knows what time. Change it here, the day, Thursday, have a different couple of schedules here. What else? Accounts are very important. Always good to keep the admin separate, and you can probably see there that I've added in security 1, which basically would mean security guard. I can change privileges, or in this case it's called rights, and here I have a choice of what those rights are going to be. I can create a new list if I want to, or I can add and remove the list from here. So if I have a security guard that's on a Tuesday night, I'm going to give them a login, but I found out that this particular security guard, for whatever reasons, likes to change settings or change setup. So when the next security guard comes in, he has to fumble around with the recorder, change things back the way they want, or he's done something stupid. I can add and remove privileges and rights in whatever way I so choose from this list here. Let's make a change just there. Alright, online users. Okay, so here we can see that I'm remote accessing it. That's me. And I can see there's no IP address there against any of these other people. I just created another one there. What else we got? System update. The DVRs are coming out with the latest firmware. If there is ever a bug or a fix or whatever, we will email you the firmware if you need to. Very unlikely. Or maybe there's a new function. A new function's just come out now where we had 16 cameras at 5 megapixels. New firmware's come out. It's now doing 25 cameras at 5 megapixels. New firmware. Bang. There you go. The auto reboot function, pretty handy. What I like to do is I like to reboot my NVRs every day. I could do it every 2 days or whatever the case may be, but if I do it every day, I just think for my own, I'd rather have the recorder reboot every day at a particular time and know for sure that I'm not missing any footage. Maybe the recorder's stopped, maybe it's the recorder's in a salty environment, or who knows. If you reboot it every day, you run less risk. And what I normally would do is stagger some cameras. So I might have 15 cameras on a job. Might have 5 external, maybe 10 internal, or maybe the other way around, and I can prioritize and set those cameras in their configuration of their actual camera, and say, rightio, in this circumstance you can see here that my recorder is going to reboot at 17:29, so at 5:30 or 5:29 in the afternoon every day. And I think that that's the less vulnerable time that could possibly happen. I wouldn't want to reboot at 12 o'clock at night when I know the pub down the road closes at 12 o'clock, or or at 5 past, or whatever the case may be, and some hooligans might do something to the front of my premises. I want to catch everything. In fact, I'll probably stick those cameras on permanent record instead of motion anyhow. But the point that I'm making here is that I'm going to pick a time that's suitable. It's not going to impact on the customer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my first non-vulnerable camera, the one that is least, that might just reboot in 40 seconds later, and then the next camera I'll do another 20 seconds. So you'll start seeing cameras drop off, and then you'll start seeing the ones that are dropped off come back on, and it will just go like that, and they've all rebooted. And I found that that's a really good way to make sure that everything's working. And if there is a security guard, they get used to it, and you say, look, this is programmed, we're programming it this way, we find that this is the best thing, we're doing it anyhow, see how you go. If they go, no, I don't want it, just say, look, try it out, not a problem, I'll come and turn it back, whatever. But yeah, that's what I would generally do. Bytes data being transferred back to the recorder. There we go. We've got 5 megabytes on 1, 2 megabytes on camera 2. Sorry, 7 megabytes, nearly 8 megabytes. So I just want to make something clear here. A lot of people misunderstand. Everybody understands the difference between centimeters and millimeters, or liters and liters and centimeters. They're totally different. They describe a liquid or a volume or something, and the other one describes a distance or something. Well, it's the same here. This is data being transferred. So this is 5.1 or nearly 5.2 megabytes per second of data is streaming back to the recorder. It's got nothing to do with how many pixels the quality of the camera is. This particular one is a 5 megapixel, so it's got 500 pixels to the actual picture itself. And you can see here, this other camera here is sending back 7.6 megabytes of data per second, but it's only a 2 megabyte camera. So it's a totally different thing. A lot of people get a little bit confused with that. I might as well have a look at storage as well. So here I've got, what's that? Well, that's 700, that's 7,000. That's tens of thousands, that's hundreds of thousands. So it's 1,907,729 megabytes of storage, or for short, it's a 2 terabyte hard drive. I did that wrong actually. So we've got 100,000, 10,000, 90,000. That's a million. So 1,907,729 megabytes, because this is in megabytes. So basically we've got 1 million bytes have 1 megabyte, and then we'll go to a gigabyte, which is 1,000 megabytes. And once we go to a gigabyte, then we go to a terabyte, which is 1,000 gigabytes. 1,000 gigabytes is a terabyte. A little bit confusing there. Anyhow, Google it. Rightio, there is a restore. If you muck up your programming or you're not 100% sure, just hit restore. It'll ask you to confirm it. Ask you what to, you can go tick, I want to do that, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, restore that to default. I could probably do display settings, so it's going to boot me out for a sec, so I won't. I just I could tick all, ticks everything, tick all, and then just untick the display settings as well. You can do that too. Let's get cancel on that one. Reboot from here as well, which is really handy. You know, a lot of recorders don't have that functionality. You might need to reboot. You might have done a programming change, or you might have port forwarded some ports to some of the cameras, so you can remote access those directly. And you might change it here, and you might want to reboot. So it's really handy to have that reboot function remotely as well, which is what we're doing here. So playback. I know that some footage, this recorder hasn't been on that long, it was on and then stopped. So I'll go to the 12th, it's changed up there. I'll go search, I've ticked my camera 8, so I want to search for number 8 camera, and I want it to be on the 12th of June 2015. Go search, I've got a nice big blue line show up. Double click on whatever time you want down below in 2400 time. Fast forward, rewind, stop, pause, etc. Just hit stop. I'll go to number 13, go search. So I've got a little bit of footage here. You can see the difference. There's only footage until nearly 1 AM in the morning. Double click on that, and it'll show me some footage there. Fast forward, there's my time. Did it a couple of times, it'll go faster and faster. Probably be better if the screen was actually moving or something was moving, so you'd be able to identify that, or you can see something there going on. Yeah, look, that's about it. So we've covered our number one thing to do is to set up how many cameras we want for our job. Sync the time, save, go to network settings, set up your network IP address number 1. If you need to ask for one, get one issued to you, and get them to do the port forward for all of those 4 IP address. All of those 4 port forwards. So 50, 51. Sorry, 50, 50, 50, 51, 50, 52, 50, 53. There's 4 port forwardings to be done, all to that IP address. If you need to change that one to 81 or 82 or 85, whatever you want. When you do that, just put the colon behind the IP address, so it will be colon 82. Just like you can see, I've typed it in there. I can do it there. Just for a demonstration, that purpose was, but you'd be doing it in your address bar in your Internet Explorer as per normal. It's not the fact that I've just done it there, don't do it there. Putting cameras online, very, very easy. Sorry, LAN search, device search, search your LAN. That's a couple of seconds, pinging on all the IPs. I've got a few IPs on this LAN. Use the pencil, double click the pencil, choose what camera. Now that's about as hard as it gets. That's it. So if you can get those things, you can install this recorder. Any problems, you can always email us at support@CHD, that's SEE, as in you're looking at me, I see you, peekaboo, SEE HD for high definition, .com.au. Great, thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you in our shop. Our shop address is Unit 4 or 14 Anvil Road in Seven Hills, New South Wales, Australia. You can jump online, check out our website. You will need to be an installer to buy from us. We'll set up a online account for you. You just do an activation on the forum on the website just there, and we'll contact you and we'll send you a password, and you can purchase online if you want to. If you're interstate, we're quite happy to send it out to you. It's not a problem at all. Great, thanks very much.